Welcome guys to Amber Quartz episode 6, and well, I did some research, and apparently, this is what we have to press because this would restart the first episode, obviously. I decided to just, click on episode 2 rather than just, you know, start the episode and then start the recording, because it might as well be that there's going to be a cutscene or like an animation or anything, and I didn't want to miss anything, so I just started. Okay, immediately. Okay. The setting sun wraps the world in amber. Another title drop. Day, light, 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 day and night, darkness, darkness, darkness in the what the fuck? In the boundary between day and night, a scene where I cannot tell whether it is a dream or reality unfolds before my eyes. Being pierced through with a sword by Mikone, Naruto. Mikone pierces Naruto with a sword. I was left completely speechless at that development, which was far too unrealistic. However, the unrealistic development did not end there. What the fuck? What? The figure of Naruto with the sword stuck in it seemed to collapse and warp, changing shape as if it were a clay sculpture. Well, she looks like a pea sculpture or slime, but okay. Wait a minute, hey, what is this? No, that's more organic than clay. Like an how do you say that? Amoeba? You say this amoeba. I don't know if you say this like exactly in English. I saw in a science textbook long ago or something. Amoeba, yeah, I think. That which had taken the shape of Naruto just a moment ago was quivering as it melted into a gooey mess. Slippery. Eventually it completely lost its solid form and slipped away from the sword that Mikone held tight. What is this? What kind of joke is this? And right in front of my eyes, a shapeless monster raises its scythe-like head. What is this though? Dream? Is it really a dream? Or is it a trick? Is it animated? Yeah, a little bit. A huge amoeba with dual golden color. That's the only way it could be described. At the very least, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of trick or special effects gimmick. Dan, what is this girl? Or what is this thing? If you don't explain! Mikone, holding that strange sword, stood in front of the monster as if to protect me. What is this? Really, what on earth is going on? It was such an unbelievable event that I earnestly wished it would end quickly if it were a dream.
やってくれたな。厄介な小娘だ。
Damn. Did it talk? However, the nightmare was still being shown to great acclaim, and no matter how I thought about it, it didn't seem like the kind of scene-by-scene situation where I could leave halfway through.
貴様何者だ。なぜそのような剣を持っている。
ああ、 この剣はうちの神社に伝わる宝刀よ。本来なら儀式用のお飾りなんだけど、あなたたち偉人にはこいつが結構効くみたいね。
偉人？
偉人か。我らの存在を知る一部の人間は我らのことをそう呼んでいるらしいな。
Mikone was talking normally with the monster, Amoeba monster. It was a scene that went beyond strange and was quite surreal. Where on earth is that amoeba making its sounds from? I can't see any organ that looks like a mouth on its translucent body. No, that's not the point at all. Oh, it wasn't a leg, it was just the scene. It looked like a leg, you know. My mind was completely confused by an existence that was far too absurd. By the way, can I? Yeah, I can do that. Well, yeah, it just... What the fuck? No. Just a little while ago, I was supposed to be in the familiar everyday life, so how did I end up getting caught up in such a strange world? Reality feels distant. If this is a dream, please wake me up quickly. But if this isn't a dream, I had no choice but to desperately reject it and resist. What the hell is this? What on earth is this monster?
こいつは偉人だ。
Now explaining. Ijin. Kyo stands by my side and tells me as he stares at the monster. Come to think of it, in that conversation between Mikone and the monster earlier, I feel like a word like that also came up. If that was a monster, why did she come back? Was she just like...
異なる神と書いて偉人。今見た通り、どんな姿にでも擬態できる存在。こいつはあなたのお友達に擬態してあなたのことを狙ってたのよ。
So where is the real Nayuta? Nayuta? This guy's? Were you targeting me?
こいつらは人に化けて人の中に紛
Were
れ
you
込み、
targeting her?
そして人を食う。そういう存在だからな。
Transform into a human. So was that Nayuta from earlier the form this amoeba took? But this doesn't make sense because I saw Nayuta's side and her thoughts wasn't like, well, I need to eat this and consume this or anything. Like, it was Nayuta's thoughts. So what the fuck? I feel like there's a loophole here, because if she was a monster, then, you know, like, why didn't I witness her thoughts as like, I need to kill this fucking, what is my name? Subaru? Like, or Ando Senpai, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Targeting me in that form. Are you trying to eat me? So Mikone and Kyo were trying to protect me from this monster. If that's the case, I can somewhat understand the two of their inexplicable actions. But being drawn into such an absurd situation is troubling for me. Even if you say something like that all of a sudden, I can't believe it. Do that kind of thing somewhere else. A monster that disguises itself as a human and eats people? Reasonably speaking, it was a story hard to believe at first. Indeed, I saw with my own eyes that this guy looked exactly like Nayuta just a little while ago. And right in front of my eyes, it revealed its true form. Even so, I cannot easily accept what I have seen. Rather I would find it more believable if someone told me that I am seeing an illusion, or that I am still in a dream, even in the midst of a nightmare.
まだ信じられないのか。 人間というのはつくづく自分に都合の悪いものは認めない生き物だな。だがそのおかげで未だに我らの存在が知られずにいるのも事実だが。
So, was the sword only useful for extracting the body from this creature? Or how do you kill this thing? That unbearable reality speaks as if asserting itself. Even though it was an absurdly unreasonable existence, its way of speaking conveyed a definite intelligence. This guy, does he have human-level intelligence? Come to think of it, this guy had almost perfectly reproduced not only Nayuta's appearance, but also its personality. Otherwise, no matter how much it look alike, there's no way I wouldn't notice. In other words, this guy possesses such advanced intelligence that he can merely act like a human. But then Yuji is kind of insane. Now, probably if she sees this thing, this is not the time to be analyzing things calmly. To a monster in a nightmare, what reason or logic could there be? I desperately denied the approaching reality, nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, but still I couldn't wake up from it.
いいだろう。我が力、今一度見せてやろう。
When he said that, the monster called an alien god began making eerie noises again and started changing its shape. A gigantic amoeba takes on the contours of a person like clay, gradually reproducing even the details such as limbs and face.
こんなものか?
Is this how I sound? Damn! Let's go. What? Eventually that figure took the shape of a man. That was me. It is clearly a familiar figure, yet it evokes a strong sense of strangeness. What do you mean? Like, you would instantly go, that's me. Not like, he looks familiar. Because that figure looked exactly like myself, the one I see in the mirror every morning, yeah?
どうだ? これでもまだ信じられないかな?
By the way, I sound hot despite me being a dickhead. Now, I'm going to take over your life. Being spoken to by someone who looks exactly like myself, I'm overcome with a visceral sense of disgust. My voice felt the same as when I heard it on a cassette tape. It was the same during the Nayuta. What? It was the same as Nayuta earlier, but this guy really seems to be able to perfectly describe himself as a human. This is no longer a matter of believing or not believing. For now, we have no choice but to acknowledge that this is just how things are. Wait a minute. So where is the real Nayuta? Yeah, finally. Yes, that question had been swirling in the corner of my mind all this time. But I'm afraid to say it. I'm terrified to confirm it. The real Nayuta was never exist. What is the worst case scenario that could happen? Even if this were a dream, I couldn't just ignore that. Where did you put the Nayuta? Where did you put that object of a girl?
さあ、どこにやったんだろうな?
The so-called other god, who looks exactly like me, grins with a lewd smile. At that moment I felt my blood rush to my head. Fear, confusion, all of it is blown away, and a maddening passion wells up. Ah!
スバル君!
スバル!
I ran forward recklessly and grabbed at the other god. In a sudden situation, neither Mikone, Kyo, nor the very otherworldly god could react to my actions. Answer me! Where did you take Nayuta? Give back Nayuta!
さっき聞いただろう。我らは人食いの化け物だと。
Well, yeah, but usually when people say I ate a girl, that's not how they mean. What? No way. You...
スバル君、落ち着いて。あの子は。
すでにこの腹の中かもな。もしくはどこかで人知れず冷たくなってるか。
That doesn't make any sense. You... My copy, who doesn't speak clearly and evades my questions. The more I grew anxious at that attitude, the more I lost my composure. Where is Nayuta? Is she safe? Is she alive? Nayuta, where the heck is Nayuta? From the bottom of my heart, I desire it. I strongly wish to know Nayuta's whereabouts. If it comes true... Now it clicked to me that oh my god. The sight we saw, that's the only explanation. When Nayuta came to us running, that wasn't the Nayuta. Or, sorry for objectifying it, just like, that wasn't Nayuta. That was, you know, this thing. So she was already either consumed or, like, get rid of. Huh? At that moment, the hole suddenly opened in the other person's body. Well, I'm getting consumed. A hole? No, to be precise, something like a keyhole is appearing on the surface of its body. What the hell is this? What are you trying to do this time?
何を言ってる？
What do you mean? For a moment I thought I was being dodged again, but it was clearly different from the teasing attitude I had just experienced. Could it be that this guy has no self-awareness? That he has a hole in himself?
スバル君、何やってるの？早くそいつから離れて。
お前の叶う相手じゃない。俺たちに任せろ。
I glanced sideways at Mikone and Kyo, but it seemed neither of them had noticed the keyhole of the foreign god. Do I have powers? So does that mean this? Does that mean only I can see it? A keyhole that only I could see, but I didn't understand its meaning. Confused, I focused my attention on the part of him that was like a keyhole. What? Then, it's as if I'm being sucked into a keyhole. My consciousness suddenly drifted away. I'll go buy some drinks, Nayuta. Wait there for me. Wait here for me.
ちょっと先輩ってば。
The man hurriedly leaves the scene. The woman watches him go, stunned. And in the end, only the woman was left alone.
これは好都合だな。
I found the perfect bait, and not just one, but two. Right now, I appear as a middle-aged man wearing a suit, if I get any close like this. Judging from the content of the conversation, the man who just left will probably come back eventually. Before that happened, I approached the woman in order to capture her.
誰？
As I approached, the woman lifted her downcast face and turned to look at me. I pretend to be just an ordinary person and casually strike up a conversation with a straight face.
すみません。ちょっといいですか？
はい、何ですか？
A woman hastily tries to cover up her dark expression while wiping away the tears at the corners of her eyes. Taking advantage of that opening, I swung my arm down toward the head from a blind spot. I can see what he did. The unexpected shock makes the woman faint easily. I carried the woman who had fallen to the ground and hit her body in a nearby bush.
さてこれからどうするかな。
I'm hungry, so should I eat a woman right here and now? What the fuck? Or should I disguise myself as this woman, capture the other man in the same way, and then eat them both together?
よし決めた。先に男を捕まえてやろう。
The woman probably won't wake up for a while, so it's fine to hide her here. And I use my own abilities to extract the necessary information from the sleeping woman.
この女の名前は望月なゆた。さっきの男はこい。
For now, I devour the memory of my daughter, just before she loses consciousness, of the girl. Now I have grasped the minimum necessary information. After that, if I mimic the appearance, I can transform perfectly.
こんなものだな。
Having completed my disguise, I returned to my original spot to wait for the man from earlier.
そこまでよ。また上手に化けたものね。いつもながら感心するわ。
巫女ね、こいつが偉人か？
ええ、間違いないわ。すぐそばで感知したんだもの。また貴様らか。
Okay. As involuntary tongue click, like one a human would make escapes. For the past few days, I have been chased around by this duo. It seems they are aware of our existence. Not only that, but it also quite formidable. Dealing with it properly would be troublesome. Well then, what should we do here? Sorry to keep you waiting, Nayuta. Oh. At that time I heard such a voice from a slightly distant position. The one who was there was the man from earlier. He was the woman in this form's beloved.
閉めた。奴は利用できる。
In my current state, if something were to happen, that man would probably try to protect me. That duo also wouldn't be able to do anything reckless against a human. If things go well, they could even use a man as a shield.
先輩、助けて。
Following the memory of having eaten earlier, I disguised myself as a woman and rushed to the man. Then suddenly I come to my senses. The scenery in front of me was completely different from just a moment ago, making me feel as if I had warped. However, I intuitively understood that the reality I was seeing now was the real one. That just now was what I just saw, not about me, the one you were watching until just now. It was probably not me.
こいつ、さっきから何を。
In front of me, as always, there is a monster that mimics my appearance. A monster that disguised itself as me. Before that, it disguised itself as Naruto and tried to use me. No way, just now, it was disguise. Memory. Even I feel like I might say to myself, what am I talking about? But if you think about it that way, it also explains the scene I saw earlier, and it makes sense when compared with the real situation. If that's really the case, Naruto! In the scene I saw earlier, Naruto was just punched and knocked out. And after that, He carried it himself into the bushes near the square.
まさか貴様
The otherworldly god lets out a surprised voice with a face that looks exactly like mine. But I can't be bothered with that. I need to confirm right away whether my guess is correct. Naruto! And following the scene I saw earlier, I headed to the place where I thought Naruto was. Naruto! Subaru-kun shouted that child's name and suddenly ran off toward the plaza. Not knowing what had happened, I silently watched their back as they left.
スバル君まさか
And I noticed a certain possibility. This is something that only we can notice, and the alien god in front of us might have noticed it too. He, who had longed from the bottom of his heart to know the whereabouts of that child, now had the possibility of knowing the whereabouts of that child.
どうするスバルのやつ一体どこへ
今は放っておきましょう。その方が私たちにとっては都合がいいもの。
Having told that to Kyo, I turned back to face the remaining opponent. If I consider a certain possibility, I can't let the other god in front of me chase him now.
さあ、これで盾にできる人間はいなくなったわ。あとはあなただけよ。
こしゃくな
あら、ずいぶんと難しい言葉を知ってるのね。でもそんな言葉、今時の人は使わないわよ。
そっちこそそれで挑発しているつもりかあいにくだが感情的な駆け引きに乗るつもりはない。
The alien god said that, and without hesitation, turned its body and started running.
待ちなさい
Damn it, it got away. Your judgment is quite fast, and on top of that, you made the choice that I would dislike the most. Since they know what's in my hand, they won't let their guard down, and as soon as they realize they are at a disadvantage, they immediately run away. Moreover, that other guy might have chased after Subaru. It could be because he might have noticed what he did earlier.
今日、追うわよ。
スバルの方はいいのか
ええ、彼のことはまた日を改めて。
わかった
Kyo won't say anything unnecessary beyond this. In the past, he would have probably spread out at least one curse here. And we pursue the fleeing alien god. While we are being chased, we probably won't have the capacity to target Subaru-kun. But if we let him slip away today, there's a possibility he might target Subaru-kun again sometime. And then, at that time...
また会いましょう、スバル君。
I quietly whispered to myself in my heart, surely it will be in the not too distant future. When I looked up at the sky, the sun was setting, and the day was about to completely end. It took a full day. Naruto! Naruto! By the time I returned to the square of the bell tower, it had grown completely dark around. And I, recalling the scene I saw earlier, head towards the bushes near the square. I'm pretty sure it was brought around here. She was. Pushing through the bushes, I searched for Naruto. From the direction of the square, out of sight of people deep in the bushes. There you are, Naruto. In the exact same place as the scene I had just seen, Naruto's body lay stretched out. As I thought, that scene is the memory of the one who attacked Naruto. Was it? In theory, it would turn out that way, but this too was a phenomenon that would be inconceivable under normal circumstances. Anyway, I need to check if Naruto is safe. Right now, above all else, Naruto was the top priority. He was hit hard on the head, but it seems like there are no noticeable external injuries. Naruto! Hey, Naruto, are you okay? What? Are you sleeping? I was supposed to have fainted, but it seemed... She was supposed to have fainted, but it seems she just fell asleep instead. Whether you call it thick-skinned or rough, or tough, well... Naruto, wake up! Naruto, come on!
先輩、おはようございます。
When I shook her awake, Naruto slowly opened her eyes. Just normally with that natural, just woken up feeling, there didn't seem to be anything unusual. Thank goodness you're safe. I was worried.
なんで私、こんなところで寝ちゃってるんですか?
That is... Anyway, let's get out of here. I'm still half asleep. She's still half asleep. I took Naruto's hand and decided to get out of the bushes for the time being. I feel like the man followed me. Naruto, you don't remember, do you?
はい。先輩とこの公園へ来たところまでは記憶があるんですけど。
Saying that, Naruto keeps tilting their head repeatedly. I took Naruto out to the square, and at first I tried to explain the situation to her.
ここで先輩と鐘つき塔の話をして、それから、
It seems that after that, she can't remember from around the point when we linked arms. Is this the shock from being hit, or... Come to think of it, in the scene I saw back then, they were saying something like, ate my memory or something. He thought about disguising himself as Naruto to catch me. So he used some kind of power to extract information from the unconscious Naruto. No way, does that mean it's the same thing I did? Read the other person's memory. What if the scene we just saw was exactly that? And if the person I saw in my memories also extracted information from Naruto in the same way? Why can I do the same thing as him? There were nothing but things I didn't understand. A monster that disguises itself as a human and eats humans, a foreign god. The former childhood friends have come chasing that foreign god. And about the strange phenomenon of supposedly reaching the other person's memories. Is this really reality? After all, everything was so unbelievable that I was at a loss.
先輩、どうしたんですか?
No, it's nothing. I vaguely brush it off to Naruto, who tilts her head. Anyway, it's already dark today, so let's go home quickly.
そうですね。こんなところで寝てたから風邪ひいちゃいそうです。くしゅ
I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Naruto, who sneezed adorably. That's right. Anyway, Naruto is safe. That alone should be enough for today. Yeah. Thank goodness. Naruto is safe, really. I'm so glad. I felt that way in my heart without saying it out loud. Morning. I'm awakened by the sound of the alarm for the first time in 2 days. What do you mean 2 days? Wasn't yesterday 16? My head feels heavy somehow. I couldn't shake off this clinging sleepiness. I wonder if I died. That might not be unreasonable. After all, too many things happened yesterday. It was, after all, just a dream. Isn't it? I recall what happened yesterday. I reunited with Mikone and Kyo. I was surprised by the changes in the two who had grown. But most of it is directed only at Kyo. I was also surprised when Mikone stabbed Naruto with a sword, or so I thought. But the real surprise came afterward. A monster that disguises itself as a person called an other god appeared, and it really surprised me by disguising itself to look exactly like Naruto and me. Furthermore, the phenomenon I myself experienced of reading another person's memories. There's just too much going on. No wonder you are tired. You can't just act as if nothing happened after just one night's sleep. By the way, yesterday after that, I took Naruto home near their place. I actually wanted to take them right to their front door, but they declined. And then I went back home and went straight to bed. What? Since my mother is not home at night because of her night shift job, I made sure to lock everything up tightly and pulled the futon over my head. Mikone and Kyo, and that otherworldly god guy. I wonder what had happened to them. After that, Naruto was also there, and to be honest, I was so terrified that I couldn't go back to the scene. Moreover, just to be safe, I deliberately left the space park once, took a big detour, and finally got home. Even so, I'm not sure if that happened yesterday was really real. For now, I guess I changed clothes. I stopped thinking about it any further and began getting ready for school. Good morning. In the dining kitchen, there was the figure of Naruto, like a newlywed, again today. Even though something like that happened yesterday, Naruto seemed as usual. Well, it seems that Naruto herself doesn't remember anything, so it's not surprising.
おはよう、スバル。
Oh, good morning, Mom.
あら、どうしたの？今朝はなんか元気ないわね。
No, that's not true.
本当に？何かあるならちゃんと言ってちょうだいよ。
Unlike her usual slightly absent-minded demeanor, Mom looked into my face with genuine concern. No, I need to be more alert. There's nothing wrong, Mom, it's just a worrywart. No, there's nothing wrong. Mom, you are just a worrywart.
そう。ならいいんだけど。
That's right, Naruto. What's the menu for breakfast today?
ハムエッグにトーストとミルクですよ。
So, you do eat bread after all, you jerk.
とりあえず牛乳飲んだけって感じです。
What kind of feeling is that?
気のせいだったかしらね。
I turned the topic to Naruto and act deliberately cheerful. I wonder if I somehow managed to fool Mom's eyes. Believe it or not, my mother tends to be a worrier. That's why I wanted to avoid causing her unnecessary worries as much as possible. Especially after my younger sister died, the tendency became more pronounced. Of course, I can't say that Naruto and I were almost attacked by a monster that can take human form. You probably won't believe it, but I'm sure you will end up being worried in a different way. So all I could do was try to stay as much like my usual self as possible.
さあ、朝ごはんができましたよ。
Alright, then shall we set out the plates?
今日は母さんも手伝おうかしら。
You always help me. Always.
そうね。今度からはそうするわ。それじゃあお母様、ミルクを出していただけますか？任せて。こんなに張ってるんだから、頑張ればきっと今でも出るはず。
Not that one. Take it out of the fridge.
お母様のミルクを飲めば、すごくご利益がありそうな気がしますね。
Oh my god, no, 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 we are not going there. No way, there's no such thing. In that way, the three of us gather around the dining table. This morning, for the first time, I felt glad that Nayuta was there. If it was just the two of us with my mother, I wouldn't have been able to be the same as usual.
先輩、何立ち尽くしてるんですか？早く行きましょうよ。
Although I noted as Nayuta prompted, I was cheerily hesitant. Seeing me off, my mother watched as I left the house together with Nayuta. That's fine up to that point, but I soon run into a big problem. Hey, Nayuta, shall we go to school from the outside of the park today?
昨日もそんなこと言ってすっごい遠回りだったじゃないですか。
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
宇宙公園の中を通らなかったら遅刻してしまうかもしれませんよ。
Being late is not worth risking your life for. But from the start I even doubted whether what happened yesterday was really real. But I also can't completely convince myself that everything is just a dream. Amid the extremely bizarre events of yesterday, only the presence of Mikone and Kyo feels strangely vivid. In a different sense from that monster, I was surprised by their two childhood friends. Reunion with a childhood friend and an encounter with a monster. Because the two things happened at the same time, it just makes the story even more complicated. But I can't keep avoiding it forever, can I? Whether what happened yesterday was a dream or reality, I have to live through today. No way, could it be that I'm at the same place as yesterday this early in the morning? Believing in baseless speculation, I steel myself. Alright, I get it. If you're going that far, I'm a man too. They say if you do not enter the tiger's cave, you will not catch its cub.
いつから宇宙公園は虎の巣になったんですか？
It's a metaphor, an example or something. If things go badly, there might be something even more terrifying lurking than a tiger. A promenade inside a space park. This is the path we always use as our school route, and it is the place where all sorts of difficult things happened yesterday. I look around very carefully, but there is no particular trace of yesterday. There were no parts of the promenade that had melted, nor were there any surrounding trees that were broken. Wait, it really just a daydream or something? Was it really a... yeah. Being here vividly reminds me of yesterday's events. I couldn't think that all of it was just an illusion.
先輩、さっきからすっごく挙動不審ですよ。
Is that so?
ここに何かあるんですか？昨日何か落としたとか。
No, it's nothing. I answer hesitantly to Naita's purely innocent question. Let's concede by 100 steps. No, let's say 1000 steps and assume that what happened yesterday is reality. In a situation like this, should I really report it to the police? What they would do? But what on earth should I say? We discovered an unidentified giant amoeba in the space park, officer. This is more the kind of content that should be submitted to an occult magazine. There were no photos or physical evidence, and there was no way the police would take it seriously. Besides, due to personal reasons, I don't really want to get involved with the police.
Senpai?
Naruto tilted their head curiously and peered into my face. Oh no, have I aroused their suspicion? Even though they don't remember what happened yesterday, this child also had a very dangerous experience. I don't want to bring Naruto any closer to potential danger. My bad. Come on, let's go quickly.
先輩、そんなに走らないでくださいよ。
Dash as if to deceive and pass through that place. It seems like every time I pass through here for a while, it will feel like this. After that we also passed through the square of the bell tower, but of course nothing in particular happened. But then, where did that different god guy go? No way did Mikonenkyo defeat them. Why were those two chasing that monster in the first place? Well, it's obvious if that can take over your life, I guess. No matter how much I thought about it, there were only things I couldn't understand, and I felt like my head grew heavy today. Again.
お二人ともおはようございます。ああ、たまちゃんおはよう。
Good morning, Tenyuji. When I arrive in front of the school, I meet Tenyuji as usual. For some reason, seeing the face of this sharp-tongued young lady made me feel relieved.
安藤先輩、ちょっとよろしいでしょうか。
What? Is something wrong? Then suddenly, the young lady's face came close, almost right in front of me. I feel restless again, in a different way than before.
昨日、何かありましたか？
Then Yuji whispered that to me, and I was surprised and turned to face her. Those eyes were not the ones that spew poison with a smile, but rather unexpectedly serious. I wonder if she has something from Naruto. Naruto doesn't remember anything about yesterday, but they were aware that their memory was completely missing. Even that alone is not normal, and if Tenyuji were to hear it, it would be no wonder for them to be worried. No, not really, it's nothing.
そうですか。
That's precisely why I dodged the question by saying that. Tenyuji truly cares about Naruto, so I didn't want to cause any unnecessary worry here.
だったらいいんですよ。変なこと言ってすみませんでした。
And as for Tenyuji, they didn't pry any further. Because she's a smart kid, she might have sensed something just from this exchange.
先輩、たまちゃんと何お話ししてるんですか？
Huh? Nothing at all?
本当ですか？なんか怪しいな。
There's nothing going on, don't get the wrong idea.
そうですよ。私はなゆちゃんの大事な人を取ったりしませんから。やだ、たまちゃんったらもう、そんな風に言われると恥ずかしいよ。
At a single word from Tenyuji, Nayuta's sulking cheeks quickly turned crimson. As expected of Tenyuji, their handling of Nayuta was professional level. After that, I parted ways with the two of them in the first floor hallway and headed to the second year classroom. By the way, my tie didn't happen to be bent today, so I wasn't forced to play newlyweds in front of everyone. Anyway, I should at least learn to tie a tie properly. Pattern. Good morning!
よー安藤おはよう今日は気持ちのいい朝だな
When I entered the classroom, Amamiya greeted me with sudden high energy. You seem to be in an unusually good mood. I feel like your eyes are narrower than usual. Did something good happen?
そんな風に見えるか？
Whether you can see it or not, it's obviously plain as day.
そっか、やっぱり。
So, what happened?
どうしよっかな。
Did you get a girlfriend? What? Amemiya seems like he has something he wants to say, but is deliberately being pretentious about it. What should I do? Even if I leave it alone, they will probably start talking, but I don't have the patience to wait that long. Come to think of it, that thing from yesterday. Then I suddenly remembered what happened yesterday. That amoeba that camouflaged itself to look just like me. Trying to get that guy to reveal Nayuta's location, the matter of the keyhole that suddenly surfaced. At that time I was definitely frantic and grabbed at the other person, wanting to know where Nayuta had gone. So then I saw that keyhole, didn't I? Furthermore, when I carefully directed my attention as if peering into that keyhole, I was able to see a scene that seemed to be the other person's memory. Was that miracle something that only happened at that time, or... Hey, Amemiya.
Huh?
As I spoke to Amemiya, I casually placed my hand on his shoulder. And while wishing I want to know Amemiya's secret, I focused my consciousness. Then... Is he the amoeba, or I can see anyone's perspective? Oh my god! Then just like that time, a keyhole appeared around Amemiya's chest. I never thought it would happen, but to be able to reproduce that phenomenon from the time so easily...
おい、どうしたんだ、安藤。リアクション芸人の一発ネタみたいな顔してるぞ。
Amemiya, that part of your chest...
あ、ネクタイでも曲がってるか？
Saying that, Amamiya looked down at his chest, but even though the keyhole should have been in his side, there was no reaction at all. In other words, Amamiya can't see the keyhole? Just like that time. So, could it be... Just like yesterday, I focused my attention on Amamiya's keyhole, with the image of peering into the depths of that keyhole. The bug.
いらっしゃいませ。
おお、ここが噂の喫茶店か。
As soon as I entered the store, I let out a voice of admiration upon seeing the waitress. After school, I have finished club activities, visited this cafe based on information I obtained from a certain source.
確かに、ここの制服はすっげー。
I don't have the guts to share outright, so I only caught a glimpse earlier, but honestly, it's erotic. Wide shoulders, a deeply open chest, and a sacred triangular area glimpsed from a swirling skirt.
し明日安藤に自慢してやろうっと。
I even invited her, but she said... Yeah, no. I even invited him, but he said he already had plans with Nayuta and turned me down. Well, I guess it can be halved if it's Nayuta-chan.
いらっしゃいませ。お席にご案内いたします。
Let's go! I know that she is... I feel sorry for him because she's a root option.
おお、特上品を発見。
I was completely captivated by the waitress who appeared before me. Of course, provocative uniforms are nice too, but isn't she insanely cute even without them? While being guided by the store clerk, I had completely been captivated by her.
こちらの席にどうぞ。
うっす、ありがとうございます。
では、ご注文は後ほどお伺いに上がりますので。
ちょっと待った、注文今すぐ決めるから。
え、そうですか。では、ご注文をどうぞ。
君が欲しい10タイム。
申し訳ありませんが、 そちらは取り扱っておりませんので。
あっさりかわされた。
Thus, the first contact ended in failure. But this girl really is something. Alright, from today on, I become a regular here. If you keep going continuously, even a strong guard will eventually lose.
安藤のやつ、もったいないことしたな。
For some reason, I felt triumphant and was basking in a strange sense of superiority.
おいおい、大丈夫か？お前今日はなんか変だぞ。
Then I came to my senses, and in front of me was Amamiya, tilting his head with a puzzled look. It's exactly the same as yesterday, which means what I was just looking at was... I decided to immediately check whether my guess was correct. It was certainly a sexy uniform, exposed shoulders, an open chest, and a short skirt.
だろう？あれはエロいよな。普通にパンツ見えちゃいそうだもんな。
And that shop clerk was cute too. She tied her hair into two pigtails on each side with a slightly sharp-eyed look.
そうそう、あの目がまたいいんだよな。って、なんでお前がそれを知ってんだよ。
Amamiya, surprised, turns her narrow eyes toward me. From that reaction, several guesses form in my mind. My own guess regarding the current phenomenon. Speculation 1. Is the scene I saw through the keyhole the other person's memory? Speculation 2. The keyhole and the phenomenon of peeking into memories seem to be abilities that reside within myself. Are you serious? Hey. Since when did I become psychic? I can't help but laugh at myself saying that. But what if this guess is correct? Then what am I supposed to do? I have no intention of doing anything about this incomprehensible power. I just want to live a peaceful everyday life. But now, it felt painfully distant. During class, while half listening to the teacher's talk, I, as usual, am losing in thought. However, today's thoughts were considerably more serious than usual. That mysterious giant amoeba that appeared in front of me yesterday and transformed to look exactly like Nayuta. My former childhood friends who called that monster an alien god and had me escape from it. Moreover, it seems that the ability to peek into those memories also sprouted at that time. If it's Mikone and the others, they surely know the circumstances, right? At the very least, he seems likely to explain about the other god, and he might also know she might also know something about the ability of that keyhole. Whether yesterday's things was a dream or reality, I couldn't be at ease without making it clear which it was. If that's the case, I need to meet Mikone and the others once again. Putting Kyo aside, I should be able to somehow make contact with Mikone-san. The day before yesterday, we met normally at Mikone's family shrine, so I think it's possible for me to go see her. Other than that, the connections I can think of are... Tomo, no, what about Minakura's line? Minakura, like Mikone and Kyo, was one of the childhood friends who had grown distance. She might also know something about that otherworldly god guy, after all. Minakura glanced over at me, as if she noticed my gaze. Our eyes met perfectly. Being stared at intently by Minakura, I was startled and froze. When their eyes are stare back at me without expression, it feels as if they can see right through my heart. However, their mutual gaze lasted only a few seconds, and Minakura silently looked away without changing her expression. Minakura. Does she really know something after all? I wonder if she has also power like truth sensing or anything like that. I get frustrated by Minakura's attitude, which somehow seems suggestive. Shall I check it just in case it's hopeless? I wanted at least a little clue, so I decided to try contacting Minakura. Fortunately, it's already the 4th period. After this is lunch break, so it looks like I have some time. The chime rang, and it was lunch break. Minakura left the classroom as soon as the class ended. It's too fast! I hurriedly chased after her.
あれおい、安藤、どこへ行くんだよ
It's the bathroom. If Naruto and Tenryuji show up, go ahead to the rooftop first.
わかった。
Leaving that message for Amamiya, I dashed out of the classroom. Minakura. Wait a moment! Minakura! I was able to catch up to Minakura after exiting the corridor and turning the corner. She called out to me, then turned to look back at me, and as always, she looked up at me with an expressionless face.
何
What is it going on? No. Maybe it's just my imagination, but you are more aloof than usual. I can really feel this atmosphere that makes it hard to ask questions. In the first place, what exactly should I ask? Something like, do you know what Mikone and Kyo are doing? No, first it would be, do you remember Mikone and Kyo, I guess, but that kind of feels like I'm downplaying a memory from several years ago.
何かよ
I mean, can she read thoughts? What was that next class again? Wait, why the hell am I asking something completely unrelated?
普通に
I see, thanks. Wait. Wasn't I only said that in thought? Or I glanced over.
あの
What is it?
トイレ
No, I think I said that alright, fuck.
トイレ行きたいんだけどいい
Minakura muttering that while fidgeting for some reason, apparently she was on her way to go to the bathroom. Ah, damn it, what am I doing? Suddenly all sorts of things have become embarrassing. Sorry, go ahead.
それじゃ
Minakura headed toward the women's restroom at the same pace as before, disappearing further inside. Really, what am I even doing? Having accomplished nothing of my purpose, I felt a deep sense of defeat.